Welcome to Jets Overtime, presented by Nissan, Eric Allen, and Eric Coleman inside the BetMGM studios. Shortly, we'll be joined by Ethan Greenberg and Anthony Beck, is going to provide the tremendous insight as always. But the Jets fall in their season opener to the Panthers. Had a really good second half, got back in that game a little bit, but ultimately the final was 19-14.
Yeah, it was a slow start for the Jets. I thought they were a little conservative coming out of the gate, but when they come out of that second half, they came out, they were aggressive with the blitzing. They were applying pressure offensively. They picked up the tempo, and I thought it was a very impressive effort in that second half. So a lot to build off of today, a big learning experience for a young football team that's going to continue to grow.
As we bring in Anthony Beck right now, C.J. Mosley just addressed the media in Carolina. He said number 2 is going to win a lot of games for us. What did you think about rookie quarterback Zach Wilson? He completed 20 of 37 for 258 yards, had 2 touchdowns to 1 interception, but he took a beating out there. He was sacked 6 times.
He did, yeah. Protection, Coach talked about it's on different people, quarterbacks, running backs, linemen. At the end of the day, the offensive line has to hold up in certain situations. Look, the arm talent is there. He made some really good throws today. A lot of his throws, unfortunately, in the first half were off his back foot just because of that pressure that the Carolina Panthers brought. That was the plan coming in. Disrupt the young rookie quarterback. Hassan Reddick, pretty good game by him, at least in the first half. Burns, those guys, linebackers, they had a couple safeties come in as well in blitzing packages that they had. But all in all, listen, he's right. There's a lot of talent there. When the pocket's clean, even on some of the movement stuff, which, to be quite honest, I didn't see a lot of movement passes early. But when he was flushed out of the pocket and then he actually got out of the pocket, we all talk about that accuracy, and you saw that on the touchdown throw when he rolled out to the right to Corey Davis. So, again, there's a lot to build off of, but as far as what you could have done, this game was close throughout. They make a late comeback. If you take care of some of the small things, now you're talking about you're in a ball game, and unfortunately, the Jets weren't able to play 4 quarters today to get that done.
AB just talked about the struggles in pass protection. The Jets want to lean on the run. Unfortunately, weren't able to get it going on the ground at all. 17 carries, 45 yards.
Yeah, the ground game was not there today. And we expected that left side of the offensive line to dominate, to set the tone, and it never quite happened. There's a lot of penetration by the Carolina Panthers. 45 yards total rushing isn't what the Jets want to go out and have. Running that football consistently is going to allow them to use the play action, to get Wilson out of the pocket, to give him a break, give him an opportunity to take some deep shots down the field. It wasn't there today, so it's hard to take those shots, hard to run play action when no one respects the run.
Anthony, the X Factor, who is going to be the X Factor every week probably in Carolina, Christian McCaffrey. 21 carries, 98 yards, but then he's such a threat in the receiving game. He had 9 receptions, 89 yards, nearly 200 yards of total offense.
Yeah, Brady, the offensive play caller for Carolina, everybody knows he's going to get a ton of touches in the game. It's how you manufacture those touches. The quick screen game, the passing elements. They do have some very good receivers that present issues down the field where the running back is going to be a viable option underneath. And he maximizes every single time he catches the football. He's always getting positive yards. Very rarely do you see Christian McCaffrey ever get taken down at the line of scrimmage or behind. And I think that's something they lean on. That's something that's huge for them. And that is a factor, like you just talked about, how the Jets weren't able to run the ball. Just his, 3.8, 4 yards a carry, those kind of things, positive yards on first down, shrinks down the down and distance every single time for your quarterback and gives him an opportunity to make some plays. And again, there is that threat. So unless you have that threat, on the other side, the Jets didn't have that option today. But for a guy like McCaffrey, I expect him to just be high rolling throughout the entire season today with the amount of touches that he's going to get throughout the year.
All right, one of the major storylines for the Jets continues to be injuries. Let's go back to Carolina right now to our own Ethan Greenberg for an update on what transpired Sunday during that Jets-Panthers game.
Thanks, EA. The injury bug bit here in Carolina early for the Jets. Early in the first quarter, linebacker Jamien Sherwood and safety LaMarcus Joyner, both making their Jets debuts, exited the game. Sherwood has a foot injury. LaMarcus Joyner has an elbow injury. Del'Shawn Phillips, the linebacker that was elevated from the team's practice squad, actually led the Jets with 9 tackles in this loss. And then you think about the big news in Mekhi Becton going out with the knee injury. We'll further evaluate what his status is moving forward, but George Fant slides over from the starting right tackle to the left tackle. Morgan Moses fits in at that right spot, and that's why you like to have depth up front, especially for the Jets who like to run the ball. And then Matt Ammendola stepped up as a punter for Braden Mann, who left the game with a left knee injury. A Panthers player's helmet hit Braden Mann in the leg. Ammendola had 6 punts, averaged 48.5 yards per punt. He had a 65-yarder, and he pinned the Panthers twice inside their own 20, a very impressive showing. Justin Hardy said he's never seen Matt Ammendola take a punt in practice, so very impressive showing for Matt Ammendola. Like I said earlier, injuries, a lot down here in Carolina, but a lot to evaluate moving forward. EA, back to you.
Good stuff, Ethan. Anthony, how much of a concern is this Becton injury? You talked about the problems the Jets had up front, and this guy's supposed to be a foundational piece for this team. Now your depth is really going to be tested because George Fant moved over from right tackle to left tackle, and Morgan Moses came in at right tackle.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're talking about a guy that when you signed him and drafted him, you said, okay, plug and play. We don't ever mention his name for 10 or 12 years. And unfortunately now you get rolled up, his leg got rolled up. Hopefully the news is that, okay, there is some type of injury, but it can be more positive is the fact that it won't be as long as potentially the 2 different types of injuries it may be. So we'll wait and see what that is. I mean, obviously he's got to go through the test. Fant obviously is a much better right tackle than he is left tackle, but the Jets are very fortunate, like you said, to have those 2 starting tackles available. And again, you do have depth across the board, but I think collectively you want that continuity. You want that same kind of guy every single week to get and have those guys together each and every game. So the run game picks up, the protection calls, all those things, communication, all those things can get better and improve. And now you have to shift and move guys after all the continuity you tried to put in during training camp. Sometimes you're not starting from square one, but again, the trust level and understanding the guy next to you changes a bit.
Eric, if indeed this is a MCL sprain, you said that you were just cruising social media and there are some reports out there. The Jets would probably be fortunate because you don't want the guy to be out for a super long time. You actually dealt with an MCL sprain before. What goes involved with that from a player's perspective?
Well, you know, the MCL, when you see him get rolled up, the MCL goes down the inside of your leg, and thankfully it repairs on its own. You don't need surgery for it, and it is uncomfortable. The stability is a little different. As a defensive back, it will probably hold me out of the game much longer than it would an offensive tackle, but I'm just hoping that Ian Rappaport's report of that MCL is correct because that would be probably the best-case scenario in this situation with Mekhi Becton.
Anthony, was the turning point of this game first half? It's 3-0. Carolina was getting the better of the play throughout, but they just had a field goal, and the Jets had a 4th and 1 in plus territory. Michael Carter stuffed behind the line of scrimmage, no push up front. Carolina on the ensuing play, Sam Darnold dials long distance to Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, that was the first opportunity the Jets had a situation where 3rd and short, 4th and 1, where you're saying, okay, listen, you already know the play call. You're running left. Those are your best linemen. Get your best back downhill quickly and go get a first down. Go get a yard. And they weren't able to do that. You know, that's disappointing because, again, that you talk about the foundation side, the two best players. You want to build that confidence. Something like that does change the game. It does change the confidence of your play caller, the offense, the quarterback, the running back, and the rest of the line. Say, hey, we get this. Every time you get in those situations and you get to roll a little weight up on your hands and come off the ball, you have an advantage. You got the snap count advantage. I know you're on the road. It gets tough. There's a little noise. But again, that's your strength. That's what you drafted. And those are the guys you got to lean on. And not to get that is disappointing. Teams are going to look, they're trying to stop you. There's no question about it. But in those scenarios, you would lean on the side that, okay, we got a guy that's 340, another guy that's 300 plus, very good, strong, tough guys. We can get this push and get it in. Unfortunately, they got that leakage and it prevented it. And you're right. What happens now? It's almost a turnover because it leads now to a big play for Carolina, which we're able to convert on.
And Anthony, you were talking about that run game and the confidence that it gives the offensive line. Defensively, now you have to change your mindset to pinning my ears back and just getting after the quarterback till I might get hit in the mouth. So you change the way that the aggression level of the Panthers defense if you're able to establish that run. So, I agree with exactly what you said, but it slows down that defense, makes everyone's job a lot easier when you can establish that run game.
It was so encouraging, I think, what we saw there from Wilson in the second half, because he was taking those shots, but he was standing tall, and then we saw him get out and use his legs. The first example of that was the touchdown pass to Corey Davis, and Corey Davis did a great job on the scramble drill. And then that second touchdown pass was an example of him reading a play and just delivering a rope. Anthony?
Yeah, look, when you pass rush against him and you watch Carolina, most of it was to make sure that he didn't get flushed out of the pocket, right? Keep him in the pocket, try to squeeze it down and make him rush, maybe throw off, force him to throw off his back foot, which you saw a few times in that game because of the fact that pressure was in his face and he wasn't able to get out. But then you saw and you started to recognize when they got the edge outside, that's kind of where he kind of likes to be. That's where you saw him in college. That's where you saw him to be great. You see the touchdown pass. I mean, that wasn't the play. The play was designed to stay in the pocket and throw, and he looks just very comfortable doing that. So you're right. Much different quarterback. I believe he was 17 for 21 in the second half, but there's a lot to like about what he can do, not just when it's clean, because he can still get away and make things happen when the defense does bring that pressure. But today was just a day that Carolina was able to contain him on the outside and not let him get out to make those kind of plays.
Lorenzo Fatukasi had a real strong day for the Jets on the defensive interior. 3 tackles, 1 quarterback hit. Our own Ethan Greenberg caught up with Lorenzo following the game.
Now joined by Jets defensive tackle Lorenzo Fatukasi. Foley, the difference between the first half and the second half on defense was what?
We just had to go in, make the corrections, and start executing our calls. We got some things to fix and some things to build on. So coming into that second half, being able to just dial in on the details was very important.
I just spoke to Justin Hardy, and he said that he feels like the team beat itself. Would you agree with that sentiment?
I believe that we did beat ourselves, and I think that comes down to details. So I think once we all come back in together, we watch the film, we got some things to work on. We got a lot of things to build on. Those details are very important.
Obviously, this is the first game after a long offseason, an exciting offseason. How do you make sure that you take this in stride and you keep getting better?
You take the things that you need to work on, utilize them, and execute them. And, everybody knows the name of the game in this league is details. Execution is the most important thing. So, and that's how we'll take that and grow from it.
The offense shut out in the first half, puts up 2 touchdowns in the second half. What did you see from your rookie quarterback today?
Listen, there's some things that, once again, that I feel like we must grow on as a team, as a collective. Offense, defense, special teams. There's some good things that we did out there, and I feel like those are the things we can build on, right? And once we all get it all together and we gel together, I have confidence in this team. We'll have a lot of success.
Foley, let me wrap up with this. I'm obviously not in that team meeting room after the game. What was the mood of the team?
Right now, we're not happy that we lost. No one ever is happy that we lost. We got 24 hours to get over our grievances because we have another great opponent coming in. So as upset as we are, we better hurry up and turn around and get encouraged because New England's coming in and they're another great opponent that we have to face.
Awesome. Foley, appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You are watching Jets Overtime presented by Nissan. Eric Allen and Eric Coleman inside the BetMGM studios. The New York Jets fall by a 19-14 score to the Carolina Panthers this afternoon. We were just listening to defensive captain Lorenzo Fatukasi, and he remarked he sounds like former Jet Steve McClendon, the wise philosopher.
Yeah, you can hear some of that wisdom that sunk down to those younger players, and it's great to see. That's what, being an older player, that's what you want to do. You want to pay all of your experiences forward. You want to help out the next generation, and it's great seeing Lorenzo Fotocasi become that next leader, become that captain of the defense.
Anthony, how do you think the Jets played on that defensive interior? Because McCaffrey gets his yards. No matter if you win your one-on-one matchup, he has this great ability to stop and start, find a hole, make you miss, and get positive yards.
Yeah, one of the, he's a low to the ground, explosive back, very powerful, he's got great balance. He does explode through the cracks. So, it's very rare that you get arm tackle on him where you just can pull him and he'll spin away. He has got great feel for just understanding what's the play and how it's being blocked. A lot of backs, sometimes they try to feel it out. They have a zone principle, whatever that may be. But with Carolina trying to get him a little more downhill, he's able to get into those seams and make those plays happen. So you really got to, he's going to do that against everybody. And again, finding him, he's not the biggest guy. So just tracking him when he does hit those cracks, you always seem to get to the linebackers in an instant. So those are the things you have to do when you play against a back like that.
Eric, Ethan mentioned it before. Del'Shawn Phillips, he was promoted from the practice squad on Saturday. He finished with a team-high 9 tackles. You had a rookie from Kentucky, a late-round rookie in Brandon Echols starting on the outside. He had 5 tackles for you. LaMarcus Joyner, who's going to be a key piece of this defense, went out. So Marcus May was playing with Sheldrick Redwine, who was promoted from the practice squad on Saturday too. So the Jets, they're not a team that are making excuses out there, but they're really piecing things together defensively. Guys, consider Carl Lawson out for the year. We saw what happened with him, joint sessions in Green Bay. Jared Davis was supposed to start in a linebacker position. We knew the Jets were going to be young. We just didn't know how young they were going to be.
Yeah, a lot of young players were forced to step up today and are going to have to as this season progresses. I thought the first part of the game, they knew they had a young team, so they weren't as aggressive. They played a lot of base defense. And then that second half, once they were down, Coach Olbrich, I'm sure he went in there and said, listen, we got to light it up. I don't care who's in that game. We're going to blitz. We're going to bring pressures. We're going to mix things up on defense. And they accepted the challenge and did a great job for the most part. So it was exciting to see all the young players make those adjustments, and great to see the team actually come out in the second half and improve.
Anthony, one guy I think the Jets are very excited about, Michael Carter II. He always pops. He had a nice PD out there today, and I think he finished with 5 tackles as well.
Yeah, very technically sound. I mean, for a young player, Eric, the first thing I saw when he broke up that pass, just excellent technique. Usually guys don't look for the ball or try to displace the ball in between the receiver's hands, especially as a young guy. You start to get nervous, you panic, and all of a sudden you don't do what the technique you've been working on your entire career as a college player, and then you come into the league and it goes south. So I was really encouraged by that. I think it's good. I think he's going to be a really good player. I think a lot of those guys are going to be good players. They just need game reps, right? They just need more and more plays. And when they get those plays, they're only going to get better. But, again, just technically sound on some of the things that he did. I thought he was on point in the right position. And, again, breaking up balls away from the receivers is going to be the key in finding those footballs. And, he did a nice job of that today.
I think it was encouraging, fellas, that Zach Wilson completed balls to 8 different receivers. Of course, Corey Davis leading the way, 5 catches, 87 yards with 2 scores. Saw Braxton Berrios step up. He had 5 catches. Denzel Mims got into the game late, had that 40-yard reception there on the scoring drive. But what's the next step, for Zach Wilson and the offense? Because, again, they were missing Jamison Crowder today. You thought he was going to be the starting slot for this team, and Keelan Cole was a game day inactive.
Well, when you say that, it's to get healthy. Yeah, you have to get healthy, and you want to establish the run. I know that they've talked about this all offseason, beefing up that offensive line, especially that left side. They want to establish the run. It makes things so much easier. And I know we keep saying it, but it's so important to slow down that defense, to dictate the tempo of the game at the line of scrimmage. And it makes it easier on your young quarterback. You don't want your young quarterback throwing the ball 45, 50 times a game. You want to make it easy for him. Control the line of scrimmage, move the chains with the run game, get him some easy third down and shorts, some manageables, and so that he can keep the drives going and put some points on the board.
Anthony, what's your expectation for Corey Davis this year? It seems like a guy's just so comfortable. He was named an offensive captain. He's got great chemistry with the young quarterback. He had 984 yards receiving last season with the Titans. Seems like he's just coming into his own, and he's ready to reach another level.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's built a nice rapport in this early time here with the young quarterback. He's got exceptional speed, breaking tackles, super strong upper body, arms, and hands, so he can really snag and poke that ball out of the air when it comes towards him. He's big enough to go in traffic, but he's fast enough to be on the outside and run by you. So great concentration today with him. A couple tight catches. Obviously, that touchdown catch, everybody sees him catch it. That's a tough catch, a ball that's low onto the ground to make sure you secure that. Over the middle, just plucking that ball out of the air on his first reception of the day, which was a huge play across the middle. So, finding the end zone, getting those catches when everybody knows you're the one, you're the top receiver, not a lot of the other guys, even though there were balls that got spread around, weren't able to have an impact, at least for the first 3 quarters of the game. We're there to support that. So, and that was dictated on pass rush and things that happened in protection situations. But when he got his shot and his opportunity, he took the most of it. And the fact that he had just about 100 yards is an excellent day for him.
Yeah, Davis was targeted 10 times in preseason action, had 6 catches, and Wilson and Corey Davis picked up where they left off this summer. 5 connections, 87 yards, and, of course, the 2 scores. And there he is again, 19.4 yards a catch. That's a big-time receiver. For more on that, let's break down Davis's first touchdown as a New York Jet. All right, you're watching Jets Overtime presented by Nissan. Hopefully you watched E and me on Pregame Central because we told you about this connection, Zach Wilson and Corey Davis. Of course, Zach Wilson's first touchdown in the National Football League went to Davis, and we saw him improvise at his best.
Yeah, this is a great play. Let's start off with the defense. The Panthers are playing cover 4. They call it quarters coverage. That's 4 across. That means they're all in man-to-man. So when you look at the Jets, how they attack it, they started off with, we call it a scissors route. We stop it out here at the top. Corey Davis is going to run the post, and then you're going to have the tight end running the corner route. That's called scissors. It's a cover 4 beater. Now that play breaks down, the coverage breaks down, and Zach Wilson improvises. He keeps his eyes downfield, scrambles away from the play, keeps his eyes down, and delivers an absolute strike in the back of the end zone for his first career touchdown.
How great of a job is this by Corey Davis here, because you said he's running a post. He doesn't end up anywhere near the goal post. He ends up near the pylon.
Yeah, he ran from one side of the field to the other. And, he looks back, sees his quarterback scrambling, and is like, listen, I'm going to get open. Zach Wilson has the calmness and the perseverance to keep his eyes downfield, find his receiver all the way across the field, and that's not an easy throw. It looks easy, but he threw that on a rope.
Listen, the Jets battled hard all afternoon, and sometimes they were in uncomfortable positions. A guy who really stepped up, Matt Ammendola. Yeah, he's the kicker, but he came on in place of a hurt Braden Mann and had a whale of a day.
Here with Jets kicker Matt Ammendola. Matt, you took over for Braden Mann as a punter. The last time you punted was when?
I actually never punted.
Ever in your life?
No. I had 1 punt in high school, and that was it. So it was definitely a whirlwind for sure.
And what's going through your emotions as you see Braden Mann exit the game limping and then knowing that you're the next man up there?
I mean, no one ever wants to see a teammate get hurt. It's really unfortunate. But at the end of the day, you just got to step up, and, if they need you, they need you.
I feel like most of us watching in the press box very impressed by your punting today. How would you evaluate your punting?
I think I did it right. You know what I mean? Like I think I had a good few punts. Obviously, it can always get better. Definitely wasn't expecting it, but at the end of the day, you just got to expect the unexpected.
What did Coach Boyer say to you on the sideline in terms of your punting?
I think he was happy. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's like, I'm just trying to go out there and just do my job, whether it's punting, kicking, whatever it may be. Just got to step it up when the time comes.
Can you talk about the difference between kicking and punting and just the style of kicking and what you need to do from a fundamentals perspective?
I mean, like with kicking, obviously, it's all about placement of the ball, like where your ball and your foot, make contact and whatnot. With punting, a lot of it is in the drop and whatnot. And obviously, like playing the wind, like depending on how it kind of comes in. Like I said, at the end of the day, like, whether you're punting or kicking, you just got to be confident in your own ability to go out there and, just, perform.
And I just want to wrap up with this. Obviously, this is a long season, not the result you wanted today. What was the spirit of the locker room in there in terms of looking ahead?
Oh, Hardy, he just kind of stepped up and he kind of came in and told us, it's going to be, like you said, a long season and whatnot. But you just keep it up. As a team, we're fired up. Obviously, getting the win is, what's important. Didn't happen today, and that's all right. We just got to keep doing what we do best, and, just looking forward to New England.
Matt, thanks a lot. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, guys.
You are watching Jets Overtime presented by Nissan. Eric Allen, joined as always by Eric Coleman and Anthony Becht. The Jets fall to 0-1 on the year with a 19-14 loss to the Panthers in Charlotte. Anthony, that was an incredible effort from Matt Ammendola today. I mean, you're hoping – I'm thinking, okay, you got the place kicker out here. You're hoping he gets it 30, 35 yards down the field and your coverage teams are on it. He had 6 punts. He averaged 48.5 yards a punt. He had a 65-yard boot that went out of bounds, and he had 2 down inside the 20. I know it's taboo to talk about special teams, but, geez, he was unbelievable.
Yeah, you're right. And listen, I know he said he's never punted before, but he clearly understands where the foot needs to hit on the football to be effective. And like you said, I wasn't thinking it was going to be a shank. I just felt like, okay, it probably wouldn't have the distance. I think the biggest thing, which, again, punters do more than a kicker would do at all, is catch a football. Taking that snap back there. I mean, imagine not doing that at all, and then all of a sudden you're back there under the pressure situation. Normally there's a tee or something holding your football when you kick it. Now you got to go back there and catch the football. So just a good job, heads up, just being able to be prepared in that moment. It's not too big for him, obviously, and hopefully man's back sooner than later. But it was nice to see that versatility is there, and heck, I mean, he can only get better. That 60-plus yarder, that was impressive to see, and that was helpful in the game.
It's also not too big for Jets rookie quarterback Zach Wilson. He's only going to get better from here. For more on his performance today, let's go to Bob Wischusen.
All right, Dan, thanks very much. All right, Zach, so kind of a tale of two halves in this game today, not only for your team, but even maybe for yourself. How do you assess what happened in the first half, maybe some adjustments, and the improvement in the second half? Give me the kind of the wide-angle lens of the way you're going to look at this game.
Yeah, it's interesting. I really feel like it's just execution, the little details. Even the first half, I felt like we were right there, really close to just doing something special. And I think, we just got to hone in on our little details, take advantage of our opportunities, and just execute from the beginning.
What do you think you personally will build off of the most of that second half performance and kind of knocking on the door there and maybe being on the verge of pulling off that comeback?
Yeah, really, it's just understanding that no matter what happens, you're always in the game, and you got to be able to, fight through the adversity, make plays even when, you've made a couple mistakes in the past or, early in the game, and maybe things aren't going well. You just have to keep, going to the next, moving on, and just you got to make plays in big time moments.
How about your relationship materializing on the field with Corey Davis? I mean, obviously, it seems like the work that you guys put in training camp and in the preseason, that's a noticeable combination. That chemistry seems to be there.
Yeah, he's a great player, and he's someone I definitely look for, obviously, especially in some of those crunch time moments. We're just going to keep getting better as a team, though. He's been in the league for a while, so he obviously knows what he's doing. But team-wise, we just got to keep getting better.
All right, Zach, thanks a lot for the time. We appreciate it. Look forward to next week.
Yep, thanks.
All right, as we bring the fellas back in for a final segment here on Jets Overtime presented by Nissan. Anthony, it's a long season, 17 games. The Jets did some good things down the stretch, got back into this game. Next week should be a crazy atmosphere at MetLife Stadium because the Patriots are coming to town.
Yeah, divisional game. You get one under the books there today. and you build off it. Now you have some film to say, okay, this is how we did, this is what we didn't do, this is what we have to get better at. I have to call this play more, or call this more often, and utilize this player more and utilize this play less. So those are the things you get out just on having some film. And then, then it comes down to, okay, you got a lot of young players in the building, understanding what the capacity of these divisional games mean. These are important. It's the biggest game on the schedule is that game. And I'm looking forward to it. I think that the Jets will continue to improve. They will go out and fix the mistakes and just, try to, be better at what they did wrong today. And that's the goal for every team, because, a lot of teams are going to come off this weekend and say, wow, like, I didn't expect that, or I didn't think this team was going to win. But, any given Sunday it can happen, but it's the team that executes. I mean, truly, that is the name of the game. And the team that does it more will win every single time and protect the football. I think the fact that, he had the interception in the game, and, you look at, his complete game coming out in the second half, he wasn't flustered. It wasn't too big. Even after being sacked and hit and the pressure that came his way, he was still like confident. And you saw that about him. So that's a huge thing to build off of as far as what he brings to the table. So I'm excited to see more games under his belt. Like you said, it's not a race. There's 17 games for a reason. And every week you have a new opportunity, and that's what the Jets will try to do this week.
Hey, AB, before we say goodbye to you this week, do you think Ammendola was doing arm curls with Eric Coleman? Because not only was that dude booting the ball, I mean, he's well put together. Looks like he spent a lot of time in the weight room.
Well, I knew Eric's a big dude. He's clearly a guy, see a lot in person, but I wasn't really noticing the punter or the kicker's arms today, Eric. So
hey, it was E who said that he's looking pretty swole. It was E pointing
Well,
that
that's
out.
a trendy thing. They're like the Hockleys of the referee world. Now the kickers are getting the pump on their arm. Hey, as long as they can swing their leg and put the ball where it needs to go, that's really all I care about. I don't care if their arms are big, small, or indifferent. So as long as he keeps doing that and punts the ball like he is, we're good to go.
All right, buddy. Great analysis as always. We'll see you next week. We'll be out on the island for Pregame Central. E, as we look ahead to the home opener, I'm going to put you on the spot right now.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite all-time moment as a player, home opener?
Absolutely. I mean, it's my rookie year, playing for the Jets. We're at the Meadowlands playing the Cincinnati Bengals. And I remember everything about it. I remember the national anthem. I remember lining up, seeing, all the fans, 70,000 people there with the Jets flying over, and just the emotion that came over me. And it was just a great feeling. That game, I ended up giving up a touchdown towards the end of the game, and I came back. My teammates kind of picked me up, and I came back and got an interception and sealed the game for our team. So that game will forever be cemented in my head. Just one of those. I learned a lot about the ebbs and flows of playing in the NFL and gained a lot of confidence.
And what do you think the fans will be like next week, considering not being able to attend any games last season?
It's going to be rocking. It's going to be rocking at MetLife. We've all been away from the stadium, not been able to enjoy the game for so long. And you know how ravenous the Jets fans are. It's the home opener, new regime, new head coach, new quarterback. It's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be very loud. It's going to be very hostile, playing against the New England Patriots, and they're going to bring it just like the team will.
All right. One game does not make a season. New York Jets fall today. Had a good second half, but again, no moral victories in the National Football League. They'll get their shot next week against the Patriots to even their record. We will be outside on the island for Pregame Central. That's starting at 11 a.m. Thanks to Ethan Greenberg for everything he did today from Carolina. Anthony Beck brought it, and Eric Coleman as well. We'll see you all next week.